What it do, Snackers, Snackettes, Snackexes, it's your boy Gage. I am here at Big Lick, Comic-Con, Roanoke. Yeah, so check this out. Do me a favor, introduce yourself really quickly to everybody who's watching.
Sure. What's up, guys? My name is Brody. I'm a Virginia licensed tattoo artist and illustrator, and I'm here hanging out with these guys at Big Lick Comic-Con.
Indeed. So can we start with tattoos and then talk art stuff?
Sure.
So, what got you into doing tattoos?
So tattooing was like a decade in the making. I actually apprenticed back in 2012. The shop I was at actually shut down.
Okay.
In Virginia, you have to be at a licensed shop for like 5 years before you can apprentice someone else.
Yeah.
So the guy that I was under had to kind of wait for him to end up where he was going to end up at. So I just focused my time doing like trading cards for Marvel, Upper Deck, doing these kind of shows, and then approached him in 2022 to see if we could pick it back up.
Yeah.
And I did an apprenticeship for another year and a half, and this will be my second year being licensed. So.
Awesome. So 2 years in being licensed, but again, quite a journey.
Definitely. Lots of work.
Is it compared to doing like stuff like what I can see on the table? Do you prefer tattoos to?
So when I started doing the apprenticeship the second time, it was like I had to unlearn everything I knew about drawing and relearn tattooing and drawing for tattooing in a totally different way.
Okay.
Because if you think you're going to start, like, because I love portraiture, I love realism, and if you think you're just going to jump into tattooing, doing that kind of stuff, even though you've had years of it behind you, you're in for a rude awakening.
Very different on skin, right?
Very different.
Yeah.
And skin's unforgiving, so you can't erase, there's no mess ups, you gotta get it right the first time.
Yeah.
And that's why you're very honest as an apprentice, you know, like you're doing smaller stuff, you're explaining that to people, you're an apprentice, you know. Tattoos are typically free or very low cost at that point, with the understanding like, hey, I'm new.
Right.
You know, anything could happen.
Right.
And I think if you're honest and transparent with people, that earns you trust and respect. And if it goes well, then those people come back.
100%.
Clientele.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just constantly trying to improve and grow and educate myself.
Yeah.
Never want to be the smartest guy in the room. Never want to be the best tattooer in the room. Always want to be able to educate myself.
Always learning.
Yeah.
Did you have tattoos before you started tattooing?
So yeah, like I actually have a background in healthcare. So I worked with the physical therapy team. We did pre and post operation exercise for total hips, total knees. I worked with stroke patients. I was a wound care technician. I had some tattoos at that point. I had one when I was 18, but then when I was like 25, 26 is when I started getting more heavily tattooed.
Yeah.
And I switched from the care side of healthcare to a wellness coordinator position. So I went from the care side to the corporate, like political side of healthcare.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized like that's not why I got into it.
Got it.
So I left, I did the art thing, and then picked the tattooing up, you know, to continue that.
I would imagine art was always a thing for you though.
Always.
So
like 3 years old. I got pictured, my mom saved like drawings where I would look at Norman Rockwell paintings of like all his famous clown work, you know, Bobo clowns and stuff. And I have like pictures of those references in crayon.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so it's just like, it was always important to me. And thankfully, I had parents that supported me.
Yeah.
No matter who I was, as long as I stayed out of trouble,
yeah,
they didn't care, you know, they supported me.
That's cool. You have a, I'm gonna say there's a very specific aesthetic, a lot of portraiture, but a lot of horror.
A lot of horror. Same thing with tattoos.
Is that like first love for you? Is that your?
So horror, again, very early. My mom said like cartoons, I'd cry, I'd get bored, but if like Freddy Krueger was on TV, Nightmare on Elm Street, I would just be glued to the TV.
You're all in.
And I don't really remember having like nightmares and stuff as a kid. It like desensitized me.
Yeah.
Like, my parents did a good job of teaching me that the real scary stuff was in the real world.
Yeah.
How people treat each other. And this was all like make-believe fun, you know, this was the escape.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was born in '87, so I grew up with all the golden age of horror, you know, like practical effects, you know, before CGI became a big thing. So yeah, it's like ingrained, you know.
You're Freddy and Jason.
And Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, all the classic slashers. The Thing, you know, John Carpenter, Halloween, all of those.
100%. Do you have a favorite?
Lost Boys.
Really?
Yeah, it's my favorite movie. It's just cool, you know. I always want to do like this badass like biker vampire dude.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, you know?
We did a top 10 vampires for a convention we were at. He definitely made the list. It was pretty dope. Like, but again, like now it's kind of lost. Like a lot of people don't know. Like they just.
I try to educate as many young people as I can. Like, hey, you got to go check out The Lost Boys, and you got to check out Near Dark with Lance Henriksen and Bill Paxton. Another great kind of movie that was slept on a little bit. You know?
You ever see The Howling?
The werewolf?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Classics.
It's hard to get like good werewolf movies.
Yeah.
You know, Dog Soldiers was a really good
This new one that just came out looks really good. Have you seen the trailer?
So I saw there was two that came out. There was the Wolfman from Universal, and I think Werewolves with, what was that dude's name? Frank Grillo. Yeah. I haven't seen him yet.
Okay.
I've heard good things. You know how the horror community is.
I know.
You got people that say they love stuff, and then people that trash it. You really got to check it out.
It's picky. You got to see it, make up your own mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, now that tattooing is a thing for you, do you have a preference between doing tattoos or doing illustrative work? Is it?
So when people ask me what kind of artist I am, I just say I'm an artist. And I think I get bored really easily.
Okay.
So it's good to be able to jump back from like paintings, digital paintings, pencil drawings, sculpting. I do sculpting.
Yeah.
And then tattooing, and it keeps me balanced. Like I don't get bored. It's something new. And tattooing gives me a chance to connect with people in a different way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times tattoos are either focused on happy moments or very sad, traumatic moments.
Sure.
So whatever tone the client wants to set with their visit, they're paying me for my time, I entertain that. You
Sure.
know, I'm very personable. I like to talk. That's why I'm a fan of like rotary machines. I learned on a coil. I know how to build them.
Yeah.
But I like being able to hear myself think.
Yeah.
I like being able to focus and have a conversation with my clients.
Sure.
Build personal connections.
I think that's important. Like, I don't think a lot of people take the idea, the concept of getting a tattoo or being a tattoo artist and relating it to like the way people do like with a bartender, right? Where somebody's coming in, they're kind of drinking their stars the way they're, exactly, right? And it's, people do build that rapport and come back to people, and you kind of build that relationship, which I think is really, really dope. So
yeah, and unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of taboo around tattooing still.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks like it's still the old school shop style where it's like, you know, just street shops and like the biker mentality of roughnecks that do it. I mean, it can be modern, and you can take the good things from, you know, the artists that paved the way.
Yeah.
But you can change, and you can
100%.
to change and to adapt and, you know, introduce some new things that are good for the community too.
Yeah. 100%. Where do people find you?
Brody Williams Tattoos on Instagram, Brody Williams Tattoos on Facebook. My website's BrodyWilliamsTattoos.com. I do ship like prints and stuff online, as well as doing these shows. But that's where you can find
awesome, man.
That I'm doing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks a lot.
It's been really awesome. You guys make sure you check out Brody. I can't force you to get a tattoo, but you should at least go look. Like, you do flash work?
I do flash work.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Go check out the flash work at least. Maybe get something sneaky on you. We're gonna go keep checking out the con. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.